it was the police. On the screen I've got, I thought conservatives believe in small government. This is big government talk. Like I said, I think this has to start on a local level. I am definitely a big fan of small government, but I'm also a realist. We already have a really large government, so that's not exactly going to go away overnight. So, that large government should be governed or should be by our consent, and it should be done, benefit us as citizens as much as absolutely possible, in my opinion. Any thoughts on that, John? Go ahead,
Kristen. Did you have something?
I have a confession.
Let's hear it.
So I'm probably not voting this year. I'm going to be real honest. I don't like anybody, and I don't want to vote for the lesser of the two evils. So
vote for me.
I totally will write you in. But that would kind of hurt myself, so maybe I shouldn't do that.
Vote for yourself. Vote for the American people. That's what people don't vote for anymore.
I mean, okay, so Patrick has said before that he's a registered independent.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like if we all took the chance, right? A lot of people vote for the lesser of the two evil. I wonder what would really happen if people really voted on their values and really voted how they really felt and not just out of fear. What do you think would happen? Do you
think it would take 2 elections.
Do you think one side or the other would still win, or do you think that we're truly more united than that?
Well, what's great about it is even if to a certain extent most of Americans favor an independent party, the system is still set up to let the Republicans and the Democrats win. So in reality, when we come through to it, I believe that if the American people decided to one time vote 100% independent and then watch Republicans and Democrats not give up their seats, not give up their things, I think it would be an eye-opener for the American people.
Well, we have, our founding fathers, like, pretty famous one, George Washington. Kind of a big deal back in the day. You probably heard of him. He spoke very, very openly in his farewell address to the American people when he retired from public life about the dangers of a two-party system, right? If you've never listened to his farewell speech, you should, because what he says about the dangers of a two-party system like we have now, like especially from our perspective, looking back to a man that was speaking 238 years ago, roughly, I think is when that 236 maybe, something like that. Yes, I know America's 244 years old or something like that. I don't know, it was a long time ago. But to look back on it with 2020, which is what we have. We have 2020 vision, right? We always say hindsight's always 2020. We have hindsight now with George Washington's farewell speech. Seriously, guys, you want your mind blown? Go listen to what George Washington himself had to say about a two-party system.
John, so I learned something very interesting from listening to these guys, like so many hours talk about all this stuff, because I'm not really a super political person, but my IQ has jumped a lot these past few weeks. So something interesting that I did not know about that I believe it was Mike or John Lee told me about, that the Constitution and the way that our states are governed were actually meant, it wasn't finished, right? So
the Constitution and the Republic as it was, it was designed to have the best foundation possible and to keep us core to a certain amount of true values or whatever, but it was designed in a way that we could modify to a certain extent, we could grow, we could progress, and as each issue came up, we have to address each issue as it reflects on the Constitution and as it reflects in the spirit of the Declaration of Independence. So I believe that the forefathers didn't want us to be static, and a lot of their legislation points to that, leaving open the Constitution conventions to be decreed, to be reopened, things like that. They've actually designed a system that can adapt. And that's why I constantly tell people that our forefathers, despite what they believed personally, as far as like their religion, their politics, whatever else, they were designing a system where no specific ideology could destroy the American situation, because everyone has that chance to get on the table. We have a government that has checks and balances and all these other constructs designed up so that, like, I try to tell people a lot who are worried about, like, if we get a really bad president, right? Like if we get, you know, a full-on dictatorship president that's like scary. A lot of people are freaking out that like the current candidates, either one of them might be one of those people. I don't think so, but even if we get one, they still have to deal with Congress. They still have to deal with the entire American foundation of politics. Like I tell my friends, you know, if a conservative gets into office, he can't abolish all the people that are liberal, because otherwise he already would have. We're seeing that with Trump. And if a super liberal gets on there, he can't abolish all the conservatism, because once again, if that was how much power that one person had, you know, so I think the forefathers really designed a system that was allowed to adapt with the will of the American people. And the people are what matter. It's nothing else. America is not our government. America is not our politics. America is not our foreign policy or our trade or how we commercialize things. America is we the people. Everybody watching this, you're we the people. That's you. That's you guys. Not your government. Not Trump, not all those people, not the Biden, not anyone. You, the people.
Well, what's sad to me is that people in other countries,
regardless,
they don't look at it like that.
It's true.
Well, sure. You're always going to be represented by your leaders, right? Your leaders are going to be those that, like we always talk about in the mod group and stuff, right? We're going to lead by example here. You know, when your children act out, it's a poor reflection on you. And so but we're in the opposite situation now, where our leaders are acting out, and it's a poor reflection on us. And the way that they've handled things is based on what's beneficial for their own pockets and their own personal wants and desires for the world. It has nothing to do with the people that they actually represent. You know, John said something earlier about, you know, they govern with our consent. You know, well, I don't remember a whole lot of me giving a whole lot of consent for a lot of the things that they did or that they have done. And I think that we live in a time now where we can literally do it differently enough to where I could be asked and I could give my consent if I wanted to for something. I could support an idea or not support an idea based on my own thoughts and my own beliefs. And that would make me feel, at least for myself, a whole lot more involved in the process and a whole lot more free to be a part of how we grow and change in a country, instead of having a ruling class, which is literally what we see today. Whether you're an independent, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a conservative, the one thing that I beg you all to see, Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. They are all, in their minds, the ruling class over all of us, the people. Yep. We are the people. We are the ones that are that have all the power in our system. You know, go read the Constitution, read how it's written. The power lies with the people. We are the biggest controller of the power in this government, period. It's not even open for debate. And yet we allow our lives to be dictated to us by people that literally think that they rule over us. They pass laws that benefit only themselves. They pass laws against us that do not apply to them. And they get away with this year after year after year. And we sit by and we do nothing. At what point, you know, do we do something about that? At what point do we change our vote? At what point do we come together in one very loud, undeniable voice and say, enough already? We're not doing it anymore. When are we going to, as Americans, do the most American thing in the world and tell our government that we're done? We're done playing their games. We're done listening to their BS. We're done with all of it. It's over. Like, we want our country back and we want to run it our damn selves because you guys suck at it. So I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I'm telling you right now, they're all corrupt. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time on Google to figure that out. And that's a big part of why I have to say all this stuff, is because everybody deserves to hear this now. It's time. We've had enough. It doesn't take a whole lot to look around and go, this is ridiculous. I'm fed up, aren't you?
Yep.
I am.
I think we all are. I think we're all fed up. I think we're all ready to change. We're all ready to see something bigger and better. So, you know, when you want to know why we're here, why we have these conversations, what we're building towards, We're building towards one united voice that is so damn loud that they are forced to hear us. And that's why I love every one of you, right? That's why this is so important. That's why we're here, you guys, because we have to. It's not about left and right. We can work all that stuff out. We can't. What we can't work out is having a ruling class in what's supposed to be a free country. That is where we need to draw the line.
I don't know about you, Patrick, but I find these truths to be self-evident. How about you?
I 100% agree, my brother. I 100% agree. It doesn't take a whole lot. It doesn't take a whole lot, you guys. This is and the time is now. The time is right now. And whether it's for you, whether it's for your children or your great-grandchildren, it doesn't matter. The time is now. The time is to stand. It is time to stand up and use our voices together, period, to make the changes that we have to make, to put an end to this, to put an end to this idea that we are ruled over. And if you don't think that that's true, I mean, we can talk about that, but I'm telling you guys, we are 100% watching ourselves be ruled over by a ruling class. And they're called Republicans and Democrats. And you can intermix them any day of the week, and it's the same BS on both sides. And we fall for it time and time again. And enough is enough. I want Americans. I want the American Party. That's the only party. We're all Americans. Let's do what's best for our country, for all of us, and let's find the compromises that need to happen where they need to happen. Even and even if we disagree, let's do it with if we come at it from a position of what is best for America, what is best for the long-term life of America, for our children, our grandchildren. Then we're talking. You telling me that we can't find compromise between here and there? I think we absolutely can. I think we absolutely can. But here's the problem. Here's how we do it. We don't do it with the news media, and we don't do it with congressmen and senators and the government. We do it amongst ourselves. We build this movement. We build our voice. We get as loud as we absolutely can to where they cannot or they cannot ignore us any longer. And then we will get what we want. Then we will be able to have the government that we want. We'll be able to see America the way that it was meant to be seen. One of the I got to go. You guys all know I go and I put myself in situations where I get to watch and I get to see for myself things. Right? I watched somebody burn our flag. And that's a smell I'm never going to forget. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I'm going to tell you this. I want that to be the last time I ever see it, right? And you want to know how we do that? We do that by coming to the table as Americans. We stop letting them decide where we fight and where we don't, period. We come together as Americans. We have the conversations. We are the unsilent majority right now. The silent majority, you hear them talk about, we're unsilent now. Now we're talking, and here we are. We're all here right now. And Breathe America is growing, and you guys are all a part of that. And we're only going to get louder and louder and louder, right? And eventually,
there's one good point to this, man. One great point to this.
Technology
if your candidate could have saved America, they should have done it already.